This story follows right after Dragon Ball Super Broly and puts a lot of emphasis on not only the fusion of Gogeta, but Broly and his influence in the Dragon Ball Kakumei storyline, as the fusion for these two Saiyans is one of the pivotal moments that really sets off Kakumei from the very start and gives it that power tier that it has to go up to when it comes to Goku and Vegeta's individual power levels they need to get to Gogeta. This even emphasizes the fact that Goku and Broly are now friends. They have a friendship with each other, something that is going to be delved deeper into when it comes to this story, showing exactly how far they're willing to go for each other and this newfound friendship. And for one, I just love seeing side by side legendary Broly next to Ultra Instinct Goku. I don't know, it just looks real sleek. Now this is important. While everything was quiet all over the Universe 7, an event from the past was going to overcome the future. The consequences of a benevolent action will impact the coming events at a much larger scale, as we see Android 17 with his entire family that we've never seen before, at least not this in detail, and his wife who we've never seen before. As we venture to Universe 6, we see that Caulifla and Kale are hanging out with Champa and Vados on planet Sadala, as Vados seemingly, or at least Champa, is training or about to train Caulifla, who's extremely impatient and wants to learn these new techniques and the new skills now. But that is when they get interrupted by a huge earthquake running right through the entire planet. Now look at Kale here. Isn't she like so adorable? Look at her. Like she's like completely shaken by this earthquake, while Caulifla looks like she's ready to take it head on. Now Caulifla immediately thinks that this is the new technique that Champa will be teaching her, but no. This earthquake is coming from Beerus, and it's so close. Champa believes Beerus is in Universe 6, prompting Caulifla to get excited for her rematch with Goku, and that is when we go to Universe 11 and we see that Belmont and Topo are in the middle of a situation when they both sense Goku in startling anxiety as everything begins to shake. And Margarita looks as though she's getting a little excited to feel Goku this close to her, because she feels that this power level is also in Universe 11, but it is not. And this is extremely sad. The power that is coming off of Goku and Beerus is causing devastation on planet Earth, because this fight is happening in Universe 7, leaving the one remaining Earthling Z fighter that seems to be doing anything that protects people to protect the entire city. And as he's rescuing these people off the bus, he thinks to himself, Goku, how far are you willing to go to get such power? This is ridiculous. Goku is putting, again, himself over everyone else, and Krillin is finally seeing it. You can tell by the look in his eye that he is extremely upset with Goku right now. I mean, these people on the bus could have been killed or severely injured, but Goku didn't care. This video is sponsored by 4VR Cornhole. Fall is starting now, but this year's summer lasts 4VR. Play one of the funnest interactive party games out right now. 4VR Cornhole is a massive multiplayer game where you pick up to 50 types of unique bags and boards to suit the individual cornholer. The custom beanbag physics are tailored for all types of throws and strategies. It's the most intuitive cornhole experience you'll find outside the field. Rock out to your favorite music and playlists using the YouTube powered media player with full multiplayer sync that is coming soon. Click the link in the description below in the top comment. Make sure you go ahead and check out 4VR Cornhole today. Please do not let summer end. Goku is in the middle of a fight against Beerus, a serious no bar hold fight. This fight is extremely consequential to the survival of Universe 7, as you can see here that Goku is extremely certain that Beerus could possibly wipe out most of the inhabitants of Universe 7 with this fight, and he knows that Beerus doesn't care due to the gigantic smile on his face. Whis is taking this fight as seriously as Goku as he stares it down, because he knows that this is not something Universe 7 is having a lot of fun with. And that is when he gets a phone call from the Supreme Kai and Elder Kai, who are wondering what's going on. Nervously, they're explaining to Whis that the universe is barely holding on because of the fight between Beerus and Goku. Like, what exactly is happening? And Whis explains it very simple. This is Goku's last test. This is the culmination of his training. He is going full power 100% against Beerus, as they both in milliseconds shoot ki blasts at each other and dodge at the exact same time, taking out whatever moons are behind them. Hopefully they're moons. I don't know if they're planets or not. Hopefully they're moons. Faster than we can see, striking each other again with more blasts, and this time getting so close that they're entangled but destroying the rest of the moons behind each other. Goku quickly removes himself and tries to strike Beerus, who, quicker than he can see, goes around him and kicks him in the back of the head. And as Goku gets kicked off away from Beerus, Beerus actually has to chase Goku, who turns back around and starts shooting ki blasts that Beerus actually ends up catching in a ki net between two fingers, which is a technique I've never seen anyone make before. Now he flings these ki blasts right back at Goku, and then Goku has a moment straight out of the Frieza saga right before he murks Frieza. It's the exact same look, it's the same transition, it looks awesome. But the balls hit directly and a huge explosion ensues that engulfs all of Goku as Goku struggles to get through it, and he uses it as a smoke screen to finally get behind Beerus. This is the type of stuff that I like to see. Goku intentionally took this ki blast, that way it could obstruct Beerus' vision and also put Beerus' guard down. Great tactics by Goku. That is when Goku does a, I'm just gonna call it like solar Kamehameha, because this thing is ginormous, and just hits Beerus in the face with it. Obviously this is not going to be something small that Beerus can recover from, and it destroys all the remaining moons all around. Such a good panel. Like this is the kind of artwork that reminds me straight up from like One Punch Man. It looks so freaking good. It is unbelievable. Now as Beerus flies backward, this is a little bit iffy. He flies into a planet, but it could be a gas giant, because it kind of like goes poof as soon as Beerus goes flying through it. And hopefully there's nobody on there. I don't think there's anybody on there. It's probably like Jupiter or something, because it just kind of goes poof and then Beerus goes right through it. So yeah, this is the impact level of these attacks. These guys are fighting at universal level right now. But defying the laws of physics is something that Beerus is great at, because he, in that moment, as he flies back, I guess, milliseconds go by, he actually ends up grabbing Goku's face and then going to basically annihilate it with his own ki blast, trying to get Goku off guard. But Beerus is a lot faster than whatever feat Goku pulled off. Beerus is so much faster because he came out of nowhere, like he just was right in his face. It was crazy. It looks like Goku is just as fast, because he escapes Beerus' clutches as Beerus was ready for the KO. And then Beerus starts yelling at him, "Stop running away," saying it doesn't suit you, as he chases Goku through the galaxy. Like, these are the type of fights that I want to see in Dragon Ball Super. Look at this setup right here, where you see the galaxy behind them, you see distant moons and gas giants and worlds, and they're just flying around them like if they were having a fight on planet Earth. Like, this is the level that they should be at in Dragon Ball Super, not planetary, galaxy level or universal level, and they are not. They're still on planets fighting planetary fights. This is a lot cooler. Poor planet never stood a chance, as Beerus and Goku just sprout up right there next to this animal and then leave, burning everything around them with just the intensity of their ki, even burning all the fur, all the wool off this dog goat thing. So sad. Now Beerus is gaining on Goku, and it looks, from at least where we're standing, it looks like Goku's actually fearfully running away, because now he's realizing that Beerus is about to like finish him off, and Beerus isn't really that hurt to begin with. But what could be possibly happening is that Goku is pissing Beerus off to fuck with him, so that way Beerus makes a mistake. Hopefully that's the situation. Beerus finally catches him, and in one extreme, visceral, and electrifying motion, he flings Goku away with a throw so powerful it doubled up as a ki blast. So Goku is now being thrown in the middle of a ki blast that Beerus just set off. Goku is getting cut up. He's getting cut up and just ripped apart in this ki blast, going through stationary moons, gas giants, just ripping them to pieces as Goku is taking all that damage, but he cannot slow himself down, and he keeps going and going until he flies into a planet called Planet Taco Taco. But this is not like the other ones. This one has people on it, as you guys can tell by the lights on the planet's surface. And it looks like Beerus doesn't give a fuck, because this is terrible. Goku lands on this planet. As the citizens see him go by, he lands right in it, and it is such a devastating crash that it looks like it makes almost like a Hiroshima-style bomb, a nuclear device in the center of the city, destroying everything around it. I'm honestly, just being thrown like this from Beerus, this should be enough to wipe out the entire planet. But it looks like the precision was good, and Goku only made a crater large enough to destroy a small portion of the city as he reverts back to his normal form. In more pain than I've ever seen Goku in, Goku looks up into the sky to see that Beerus is charging up a death ball to destroy not only him, but the entire planet as well. So now Goku has to try to defend this planet at the same time as saving his own skin. He slowly pushes himself up. As he does so, he starts to transform into a Super Saiyan and then Super Saiyan Blue as he yells to everyone to get out of the vicinity. Beerus is ready for murder. Goku, as fast as he can, gets off the planet's surface and tries to head away because he does not want this planet to be dealt a finishing blow because of their little sparring match. And Goku doesn't understand why Beerus would put a whole civilization in danger because of this. And you should just think it's Beerus. He's going to do whatever the hell he wants to do, and he's a destroyer god as well, so he doesn't really care. But when Goku looks down, he sees that one of these inhabitants are still on him, more than likely struggling to breathe in space, unless just being around Goku's ki is enough for him to breathe in. But Goku diverted himself and the blast away from the planet, going nearer and closer to the moon as Beerus launches the death ball at Goku, and Goku desperately tries to stop it. And now it looks like he may have a casualty on his hand or on his leg because that little kid is still in there. Both Whis and the Oracle Fish are astonished at how long Goku has gone against Beerus. But the Oracle Fish then falls asleep, and Whis gets a bad feeling about this, thinking that it's time to join the fight, as the Oracle Fish has a prophecy saying universe consequences will act up on our own ending. And Whis shockingly looks at the fish, who has gotten much older since the last time we saw him, and says that he thinks this prophecy is about their fight. Back on Earth, the earthquakes have subsided, and it looks like Goku may have left in the middle of something, maybe something important to Gohan, because Videl says that Gohan was looking forward to seeing Goku, and Chi-Chi's upset that he's not there yet, so it must have been a family situation that must have happened, and Goku ended up leaving to fight Beerus. Even Piccolo can see the writing on the wall that Goku's training is about to come to an end, and he shall return, and Gohan, looking up at a bird in the sky, says yes, but he needs to get back to training too because he needs to be there in case something happens. Maybe he has a feeling something's about to come. And Piccolo says, what about your studies? And Gohan looks at the eagle more intensely, saying nothing. So Gohan is ready to be a main character again and jump back into it. He is part of the promo art for this, so I'm hoping to see a lot of Gohan in this, which isn't what happened in the original. In the original, Gohan really wasn't a part of the story, so it's good to see that they changed the story for that. Gohan says, I'll find a compromise, giving him the thumbs up. Gohan is dead set on becoming the next warrior, as we get to a completely different planet that looks like somebody is running laps all around, and we see that our boy Vegeta is also training on a far-off world with the same weights on his arms and his legs that Goku had in Otherworld, which is such a sleek look. Honestly, those Otherworld episodes were some of my favorites, so I can't have any hate for this. I like this look. I like these weights. I always love added weights to a character, making them stronger, this sort of gravity training, weight training type of thing. I love seeing training. Vegeta, he is training on this planet. He's realizing that he's also at the extent of his individual training here. Oh my god, look at Goku. He, on the moon, turned around, took the brunt of that explosion, and I'm assuming he's holding the kid, and he tells Beerus that without him, that whole planet would have been destroyed. If he hadn't moved, Beerus is ready to kill them all. And Beerus, looking at Goku, a character, a person, a Saiyan that he could not destroy, says he's not doing his job as God of Destruction. Goku smiles at the kid, saying everything's gonna be alright, and the kid is absolutely fine as Goku falls face forward as a hero, smiling till the end. He smiles similar to All Might, and Beerus says that, yeah, he's never, even with gods, it's rare for him to use this much power, but he's never had to do that with a mortal ever before, but Goku has finally reached his limits as Whis enters the chat. Goku finds himself drifting off in water, not knowing where he's at, but thinking about his friends, his family, Vegeta, everybody else, and just thinking about how thirsty he is. And obviously this is not him right then and there because he's not all tore up like he was on the moon, but he is in a dreamlike state. Still ripped to pieces, stands up, and is in Ultra Instinct Omen. He carries off the kid, brings him back to the planet, then goes back to Beerus. Before Beerus can even realize what's happening, Goku is drifting off into space in UI Omen, which I'm surprised that he hasn't used it up to this point yet because the fight has gone so crazy. So he's been in blue the entire time, and Ultra Instinct has not been something he's been using. Goku goes away from Beerus and starts to pull in ki, but at the same time as drawing in ki, he pulls in planets as well. And you can tell that time has stopped because Beerus is still in the same position he was a little bit ago when he was smugly saying to Goku that his time is done. And Beerus isn't ready for what's coming next because Goku has created a two-headed dragon ki blast that has a ton of different planets, hopefully all uninhabited, inside of it. Crazy. Oh my god. And the dragon is ready to attack as it comes lurching out and gobbling up Beerus and Whis. Whis is standing right there, but the only thing is the planet is right behind him that he just saved, essentially, so like hopefully it swerves around that planet, but it's heading straight toward Beerus, and Beerus is freaking out. And as it consumes him, black electricity begins to run through this brand new attack, and it looks like it's amping up for a extremely satisfying blast, hopefully. But something's wrong. Beerus isn't in the attack anymore as a hand gets placed on Goku's shoulder, and Beerus has transformed into Hakaishin mode. It is the same mode that Toppo had, nothing like Ultra Ego, the same exact thing that Toppo had, but it looks like Toppo may have just had a taste of it. This may be the next form for the God of Destruction with the insignia on the chest, the darker red skin, the bulging of the muscles, and he says, I can barely remember the last time I combined these two powers. Be proud, son Goku. Goku turns around, but Beerus is back in front of him. I like the way the time is, the speed is portrayed in this fan manga because you can tell the difference by characters' positions to each other and between each panel. Like, obviously in the show, you'll be able to see the little lines of them flying back and forth, but in this, it's a lot better done this way with each panel showing them moving faster in just a different type of way, like by them not noticing the person move. And even Beerus comments on this, you're as slow as a turtle now, as Goku is ready to just do another ki blast, or at least unleash the one that he just destroyed. Try to unleash another one that was similar to the one he did before. It looks like the black electricity was Beerus transforming inside the ki blast, so it probably left it inert. So that attack was strong enough for Beerus to take this up to the next level, essentially. And this is a Kamehameha within a Kamehameha, as Goku does what looks like a Rasen Shuriken in Kamehameha in his hands, with a little tiny Goku also doing a Kamehameha in his hands. Great visual metaphor. Beerus had to combine his Hakaishin Destruction mode, which is the one that Toppo had, with Ultra Instinct that Beerus also has access to. So this is a limit that Beerus has reached because of the fact that Beerus isn't so good at Ultra Instinct as well, and Whis has said that before in canon, and now that ability, those attacks, all that has pushed Beerus to this brink. But Beerus is feeling pretty confident about going into this battle as Goku is about to Kamehameha him right in the face. But as we're about to see what Ultra Instinct versus Ultra Instinct would accomplish, Goku actually becomes inert and falls out of Ultra Instinct and collapses as Beerus and Whis just stare on. And I like the cartoon version of this like really intense form for Beerus here. It's adorable. Goku collapses as Beerus is pissed off that he can't go further beyond, and he hasn't ever really done this before, so he was just really getting into it even though he was rusty. But then he realizes that his planet is gone. You see the Supreme Kai here just playing with butterflies, not doing his job, as Beerus comes in and asks him to fix his planet for him, using Whis' staff as a offensive tool to coerce the Supreme Kai to recreate his planet, because the planet was destroyed due to all the fighting. There is a little bit left of it, like a little tiny, like only the tree part is left of the planet, but the planet is not like a normal planet, it's like a godly version of a planet, so it almost looks like a little portal or whatever. And Supreme Kai says, it might take longer than expected, but yeah, I can fix it. I can try to see what's going on. Beerus orders Whis to go back to Goku so that way they can save him, because his atmosphere aura will soon expire. Makes sense, atmosphere aura, to fly around the stars. I like that this is explained. And Whis and Beerus are off to save Goku. As we go to the Grand Priestess Palace, up in the sky, and look at this art design. This is almost like a professional manga right here. This looks like, again, this looks like One Punch Man's artwork, art style. Everything here, like, look at it, it's gorgeous. As all the angels walk into the same room with him. This is similar to the original chapter of Dragon Ball Kakumei, as he begins to tell them that they all know why they're here, but there's some information that you are not privy to, and if the Omni Kings find out, then there will be hell to pay. And this is where we get to 17's wish, why 17 started this Dragon Ball fan manga, because he is the one that brought back all the universes, not just the ones that were destroyed here, all of them. So there are 18 universes, and I believe in the original Kakumei that's how much there were, but there is a secret universe, Universe 0, the 19th universe that nobody else knows of. So this is a lot more special of a universe, instead of having like the other universes that were erased and having evil angels from there. This is more specifically on Universe 0. Now they are curious why he has hid this information from the angels, but Margarita sees the truth, and that is when we get someone joining the secret meeting that wasn't intended to be there. And finally we get the Mother of Angels. Now it's not exactly stated here she is the mother, but in the original Kakumei she was the Mother of Angels. But it looks like they're going to go deeper into the storyline with the Grand Priest and his hidden past with Universe 0 and what he did. She calls him an imposter, so maybe he betrayed her because she was the Grand Priestess and then took the mantle for himself, but had a pretty good reason to do so. All I gotta say is the Mother of Angels, she's stacked as fuck. Just saying. Goku finds himself back on Beerus' planet after his solemn defeat, as Whis asks him how he feels about all the repercussions their fight had across the cosmos, and Goku is honest. He had lost himself in the fires of combat, and he did not realize the destruction that was going on in the universes, because all he wanted to do was beat Beerus. But Beerus laughs us off and says, "You almost died with your mouth wide open, unconscious, young mortal. I'm not so young anymore," with a slight laugh. Time to heal Goku to 100%, says Whis, but Goku doesn't want 100%. Goku wants 90%. He wants to keep the scar on his back, the devastating, destructive, and gruesome wound that Beerus left on him. He wants that scar left back there until Goku can do the exact same thing to Beerus, and Whis, he grants his request. Goku is impressed at the power of Whis' healing, comparing it to sensu beans, but Whis takes a little affront to this and says these are angel powers. I mean, with Whis around, really, they don't really have to be worried about either dying or having time be reversed or any wounds, and this is an issue with Whis in the Dragon Ball Super manga in my opinion, but it fits here because this was a training session supervised by the angel. Whis asks Goku what he's planning on doing now, and Goku looks at his hand, looks at the palm of it, and says that Ultra Instinct is the power, the strongest power that Goku feels in his bones, is his destiny to master, and yet he wasn't able to defeat Jiren with it, he wasn't able to defeat Beerus with it, so As for now, he is going to go back to his wife and children because Chi-Chi must be worried sick, which to me is the right answer for Goku. As Whis takes Goku back home, Goku feels a little bit of apprehension from the angel. Goku asks Whis what he's planning on doing now that this is all over, and Whis has a bad feeling in the universe. There is an awful new presence in one singular point, and Whis is going to go ahead and check it out, which comes to a surprise to Goku because he's never seen Whis act like this before. New determination, Goku stands up, grabs Whis by the shoulder and says, "Let me handle it." Meaning whatever Whis has in store, let Goku do it. Goku is finally coming into his own as a huge and powerful force in the cosmos and all the solar systems and all the universes, and he wants to be acknowledged by Whis for that because look at the fight that they just had. Goku feels he is on par with whatever threat Whis is heading toward, but Whis doesn't feel the same way. He orders Goku to remove his hand. Goku does nothing, and Whis has to reiterate the exact same thing he just said, remove it, and then at that moment Goku's hand burst into flames. Now, it is unclear whether this is Goku doing it or Whis. I believe it is Whis doing it, trying to get Goku's hand to be removed, and Goku stares at Whis into his eyes with no effect from the flames being placed upon his face. Goku can handle whatever Whis is doing to him. Goku finally removes his hand, and Whis says it is not your job to handle things like this, to handle every problem in the universes. This is not something that you're meant to do, but Goku says it is not his first time doing it, so he's fine with it, and with that Whis says fine. I'm going to go ahead and send you on your way to this issue so you can go ahead and resolve it. I won't be able to come with you because I've been summoned by the Grand Priest, which is something that we saw in the last chapter. Again, if you missed the last chapter, my review for it, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below in the top comment. Whis gives Goku not a Xeno button, I guess a Whis button. That way Goku can contact him if he's got any issues. Whis smiles to himself and says that this does not seem like a very good idea, but Goku is confident that he can handle whatever is going on in this moment, and that is when they finally arrive. Universe Zero is right in front of them. It looks like Goku is going to uncharted waters, and let's see what happens to him on the other side. We cut back to the Grand Priestess Palace where the Mother of Angels is spilling all the dirt that she has on the Grand Priest, saying that she never abandoned her children, and it is this guy, the Grand Priest, who provoked a genocide by thinking that he himself was on the same level as the Omni Kings, and the Grand Priest begins to flare up with power, ordering his children to stand. Reasonably, the Grand Priest's kids, they want an explanation as to what's going on. Obviously, this is cut a little bit ahead of time because we see that Whis is already here in this moment. The Grand Priest basically spills the truth. He says this is technically your mother and she is not totally lying to you. The 19th universe of which I spoke was particularly united and powerful. It released a monstrous strength and threatened the balance established by the Omni Kings. Something had to be done quickly, and so without the king knowing it, the new Bae, the Mother of all Angels, begins to laugh and says, act quickly. Expanding space-time may be a brief action for you, but it is not what I would call dying fast. To feel time tear apart the bodies of innocent people per billions, it may have only lasted for a single second for you, but for us it was several tens of billions of years, dear priest. And it looks like the Grand Priest may have messed up on this one. It looks like he did not have the power of the Omni Kings or the approval of the Omni Kings to destroy Universe 19, and so he did it the only way he knew how, and that is by tearing time apart, tearing their space-time and destroying the universe, pulling it atom by atom, time period by time period. And for him, it only was a blink of an eye that he destroyed it, but for everyone inside, it was billions of years of their bodies being torn apart viciously. This comes to a surprise to the angels, who normally are a little bit more stoic as to the dying of billions of people. And the Mother of Angels is kind of in the right here. Not sure what this horrible power that was coming from this universe is at the moment, but yeah, she is kind of in the right. He went above above and beyond his pay grade to destroy this universe in the most barbaric way possible, and then covered it up. But she does not blame him, and she does not blame the king. While this conversation is happening in Universe 12, we see that God of Destructions are starting to feel ki from very recognizable people. And with one declaration, the Mother of Angels says, it is not their fault, it is the system's fault. The system that made your father act in such a way. So it is society's fault, not these arbitrators, not the kings, not the Grand Priest. New energy signatures, new gods, new angels begin to block the light coming from the heavens onto the palace as faces familiar to the angels begin to show up. And these are the gods and angels of all the destroyed universes from eons past. Universes 13 through 17 are all here and all present, with gods of destruction that look very similar, quite similar actually, to the gods that we have in the very established universes. But what is different is the angels. The angels themselves are a little bit more of a torn, darker force. They look like they have a level of PTSD and even burn marks on them, where some of them have injuries that don't seem to have healed. Maybe this is part of them and their survival or their resurrection from these destroyed universes if they were destroyed in very similar ways to the one in Universe 19. But there is one person here that is very recognizable, and one that is recently recognizable to the players in the surviving universes, as Vados points out, and a golden hue begins to emit through the halls. God of Destruction Frieza stands before all of them, and even Frieza's angel showcases exactly why it is a fault of the angels that their neutrality leads them to these paths. It was Whis that resurrected Frieza and brought him back to life, and now Frieza is a god of destruction banded together with these destroyed universes. When I first read this in the original Dragon Ball Kakumei, I was actually very excited to see this development, because I always thought Frieza, if you're going to keep him around the way you are, he needs to be upgraded, and what is more upgraded than being the Emperor of the Universe to make that title basically official by becoming a god of destruction. And he gets a hot angel waifu as his angel attendant, so I think that Frieza definitely secured the bag on this one. We basically saw this coming, and the neutrality of the angels is a double-edged sword here, with Frieza taking the spot of a god of destruction. Frieza actually ended up talking to Zuno with his commanders, and they found out about the new universes, and he went off to kill the weakest of the god of destruction, the one that didn't have the sense or wanting to be a god of destruction, one that was lazy and powerless. He went after the weakest link and killed him, taking his spot as a god of destruction for Universe 18. Actually, Frieza was surprised that the Omni Kings would destroy such a weak god of destruction, because only Frieza thinks that threats should be eliminated, when in reality the Omni Kings destroy the weakest of the strongest. Frieza has determined that it is his birthright to be a god of destruction, and it seems that he basically killed the last one and just took the clothes off of him and put them on himself. And maybe that was enough to make him god of destruction. Maybe the angel did some sort of ritual with him, but now he is that god of destruction with all the powers that come with it. And he asks Whis if he regrets his resurrection, and Whis simply just says, "You are unconscious, Frieza. You have no idea of where you step." So I don't think he regrets it. I think that maybe he thinks that the rules themselves forced him to do it because everybody else was resurrected or brought back at the end of the Tournament of Power. But he thinks that Frieza is a child and doesn't know exactly how far he's gone in the search of greater power, and maybe this will be Frieza's undoing. Frieza gives his thanks to Whis on his resurrection again, and then asks where is Goku with a smirk. When the Grand Priest asks what does Goku have to do with anything, Whis explains that Universe 0 was something that he was concerned with. An energy signature was coming through there that he wanted to check out, but he let Goku scout ahead just to see what's going on with it, but he cannot sense Goku's ki from the dense aura that surrounds Universe 0, and Goku's not using his button that he had given him for emergencies. Goku does not make the best scout or secret agent, because it looks like he ran in screaming like a donkey right into the headquarters of the Mother of all Angels, and that was Universe 0, and it looks like they're using Universe 0 as headquarters, headquarters as opposed to any of the other ones that were brought back from 17's wish, but they are dealing with him as angels and higher beings should deal with mortals. And the Grand Priest is surprised why they are keeping him alive. Does he have sense of information? Why have they imprisoned him? And the Mother of Angels responds with, "Don't act like an ignorant Kaishi. You know exactly why we use him." I love the artwork in this. The artwork is so phenomenal in this, guys. This is, I had to gush over it. It is just awe-inspiring, honestly. And I would determine with Goku's 6-second breach of Universe Zero, he was caught by the angels and the Mother of all angels and has been strung up, chained up, with chains protruding right through his body. And as he yells and screams, "You cowards, get back here. What do you want from me?" Probably regretting his decision to go to Universe Zero in the first place instead of just going home. Goku is now taken out of commission, imprisoned until the foreseeable future. Honestly, this is a great way to build stakes up in your story. Goku was shaking the universes almost as strong as Beerus in the beginning, the first chapter. That's all it was dedicated to, and now he has been single-handedly brought down by the angels and taken out of commission. So their strongest warrior is incapacitated, and now they need to find a new one. Goku seems to be their hostage as well as the rest of the universes, and the Grand Priest asks, "What are your demands?" The abolition of the divine hierarchy and the removal of that neutrality that you're so obsessed with. Such great stakes. Now, if this is something that they agree with, the Omni Kings would have to be taken out of commission and the universes would go into war. The cutest of all angels yells "Father" as the Grand Priest urges them to stay calm, but someone has surrounded the Grand Priest, exerting that this neutrality, this mentality has blocked him and blocked everyone else from exceeding. The Tournament of Power had erased all the gods but not the angels because of the hierarchy, and the angels were above everything else, and it looks like it is a god of destruction driving up to the Grand Priest and actually looking like a threat against one of the strongest angels. But it seems like the leader of the gods of destruction has walked right up to the Grand Priest and says there's no more time for games, it is time to make things happen. But the Grand Priest isn't so sure that any of these gods of destructions could do anything against him. He is more worried of the angels, specifically the Mother of all angels. There is a hierarchy after all. The war between deities on a multiversal scale is about to begin, and the revolution starts now. Every individual, mortal or not, will have to choose his side. Only one will remain. Let's fight for a new world with perfect balance. And the Grand Priest jumps into action, trying to freeze the moment with his powers, freezing the gods of destruction. Collapsing to his knees, Cuss comes over and asks, "Father, are you okay?" And he says, "Don't worry. I froze them in time and space, but it is not over yet. We need to teleport them to Universe Zero and then freeze it, ending this onslaught. We need to get all the Kaioshin. We need to get everyone here. This needs to happen now." The Kaioshin come in and they're ready for business. With all of them united, they can teleport them back to Universe Zero and freeze them there. But the freezing of Universe Zero, the ending of Universe Zero, basically this is a last-ditch effort to stop this war from even starting. But this is the end of Goku then. Goku would be stuck at Universe Zero. He wouldn't be dead, so he could not be resurrected back. He would just be in limbo with nowhere to go, in excruciating pain for the foreseeable future. Back on Earth, Chi-Chi looks up to the stars and she feels a great pain in her chest. As she walks back to Capsule Corp, Goten asks Videl how she is doing. Videl does not really know what has come over her, so she walks over to her and asks her if she's okay, then assures her that he's just a little bit late, you know how he is. And Chi-Chi says, "Yeah, you must be right." She's obviously thinking about Goku. She feels something is wrong, something different than before, something different than Goku just missing the holiday or whatever event they're planning. He is possibly in danger, but Videl is trying to keep her calm. The designs for Videl and Chi-Chi here, I like them a lot. I like Chi-Chi's ponytail. I like how her hair has evolved over the years. Obviously, this takes place a little bit in the future past Dragon Ball Super. And Videl definitely has that same look from the Battle of Gods movie. And yeah, just the designs here are really well done, honestly. Coming home from work, Gohan takes off his suit, puts on his drip like a real boss, and enters the party. Surprised that Goku isn't there because he obviously probably thought that he was going to come, even though Goku does miss a lot of events, but maybe he was sure that he would come to this one. Gohan does seem a little bit more pissed off than usual as he sees that his mother is worried about something, and so he says, let's just eat and get on with it, thinking maybe that Goku misses this for training instead of just, you know, having an ominous feeling that Chi-Chi has that something is wrong with his father. That is when they feel something in the air, Piccolo and Gohan each looking up in the sky, and they see Jiren flying on a dragon through the skies. No, that's not what's going on. This is Jiren in Universe 11. But it looks like he's either trying to wrangle this monster or defeat him. Maybe it is a rogue creature that's destroying things. But he's doing his hero work. But as he's done, he feels something and looks into the sky. It looks like everyone is having the same intuition that something is wrong. As we get to planet Geno, Universe 6, we see Hit walking through a crowd, using time skip to take out targets in this crowded area, but that is when he feels something is off in the universe as well. Kaba has entered the barrio where Caulifla and Kale call home, and looks like it's out in the sticks somewhere. They are on the poorer side of the Universe 6 planet Sadala Society, and Kaba asks what exactly they're doing. It looks like they are training or in the middle of training. As Kaba says, I was just around the area and wanted to see how you guys were doing. He feels a force in the universe as well. Caulifla, who has a really awesome design as well. She's been redesigned to have crazy hair. Like, it's like actually like fluid, similar to how they are, or the hair was back in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. She doesn't know what Kaba's talking about, but he points to a ball in the sky as Kale and Caulifla are virtually unimpressed by this ball. But that is when the ball begins to speak. I am the Grand Priest of the multiverse, and I come to bring you the direct orders of the one you call God. I address myself to all life forms present in this world. An evil angel rebelled against me, and I froze her for a period of 2 years. A war between universes will start once this delay is over. Every single individual will have to be ready and choose a side. Everyone is confused as to what is going on. Why would the Grand Priest talk through a giant ball? Jiren's like, what do you mean frozen? And Gohan has no idea what any of this means. But I do like that there is a set time limit now. There's 2 years before they become unfrozen, giving the heroes of all the universes. We see the main characters here, Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla, Hit, Jiren, Gohan, and Piccolo, giving them all time to train and become stronger. This is a great setup for this arc. Now Caulifla seems a bit more worried as Topo reacts and reaches out to Jiren, who sees the same exact thing. We get the entire Z Squad here. They're all aghast as to what is going on in this universe. Even Krillin is sporting like a little buzz cut, which I love. I love to see that, honestly. I love the designs. They're a little bit older than before. Even Goten and Trunks are older, like they look like they're actually teenage years, and they are built. They are definitely, they've been getting their gains. They are much stronger than before. And Goten looks back at his mother, realizing that what Vegeta is saying is true. Vegeta says that Goku is not here, he should be here, and that is a problem that Chi-Chi's probably feeling, that something is wrong with Goku since he's always hanging out with the angels. As Goku looks like he is frozen as well. So it looks like Universe Zero might be frozen along against the rest of the rebelling angels and gods of destruction. Vegeta and Bulma are coming up with a plan as to how to best spend the next 2 years to have a shot to save all the universes from chaos. I love that Bulma and Vegeta are both working as a team here. Not only that, I love the design of Bulma. This isn't the DBS Bulma design. This is future Bulma's design with the DBS clothes. I love this time skip. I love the way she looks. I love the little homage to that forgotten timeline. The plan is simple. They need to find Broly, Chilai, and Lemmo so that way they, with their huge potential, can come and join the fight. And then Goten, Trunks, and Gohan will be going to Whis for further training. Deep in the remote mountains, Piccolo is in mid-meditation when an unknown being comes into his vicinity. And all Piccolo asks is, may I help you? Showing that he really isn't afraid of this individual. If anything, he is more curious to see what he can do for this individual. What do you mean I'm too busy? Hurry up and come here, you selfish... Okay, it's fine. She wants me to go find someone. I can do that for a friend, right? That Jacko, I swear, he's such a slacker. Even when a war is about to break out, he finds a way to postpone what he is asked to do. Seriously, he can do that for a friend, right? When she's angry, even the greatest warriors can't stop her. So Bulma's asking Jacko to help her get Broly, but Jacko's a little bit busy, and Bulma just lays into him until Jacko basically bullies him until Jacko decides to go get Broly. And honestly, Bulma has been asking Jacko for a lot, like since we've met him in Resurrection of F. I mean, he was the one that warned him about Frieza, so Jacko has been very reliable, and he's been there since the very beginning, at least in terms of DBS, so Bulma needs to take a chill pill here. Vegeta leaves the commotion of his wife inside as Gohan asks, "What's going on over there? You guys having some issues?" And Vegeta says, "Nothing compared to what's going on out here." As Vegeta, handing off Bulma to Videl, asks Gohan, "What do you plan on doing?" Even though he had said earlier he wants him to go to see Whis, he's actually asking Gohan, what are your future plans? Are you going to train, or are you going to study, or are you going to do both? Vegeta in all of this is not the same Vegeta in any other iteration of Dragon Ball fan mangas, not even close to the one in Dragon Ball Super. This is a far more mature, far more level-headed type of Vegeta, where he even sees Gohan as an ally, as an equal, respects him enough not to order him around, and actually ask him what he wants to do. Vegeta suggests to Gohan, why not go train with Goku and everyone over there on Beerus' planet? You can bring Goten, you can bring Trunks. They already agreed to go. They're excited. I think this is probably the best course of action. So Vegeta did kind of choose this for Gohan, but he's kind of like trying to sell him on it, like maybe this is the best course, this is what you should be doing. But Gohan rejects it. He says, I have a better plan as to how I'm going to spend the next 2 years in training. Vegeta trusts Gohan with his decision not to go to Beerus' planet and to go do some other training if he definitely believes this is going to help them in the war to come. But then he asks, what about Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien? What is the best training program for them? Instead of casting them out as weaklings like old Vegeta would, saying that there's no even reason for them to even be there, they're just weaklings, they're never going to get strong enough, Vegeta's actually being like a leader, a team player, and asking Gohan, like, what are they going to do? What is their training program? Like, what would best suit them? And Gohan has the perfect idea. Gohan decides to take it on himself to pitch the idea to Krillin and Tien and Yamcha, which I think it's cool that we get Vegeta coming up with a plan. He had a plan for Gohan, then he pitches it to Gohan. Gohan has a different plan, but he's got a plan for somebody else. Then he pitches it to somebody else. I like that they're working as a team. This is probably the most teamwork I've seen out of the Z Fighters in a very long time. And when he goes to Krillin's house, Krillin has, again, that hair that he had earlier in the last chapter. Plus, he's still wearing his outfit from the party, and he's hanging out with his daughter and wife. And Gohan tells him that I have the best training solution for you. Come check it out. But at that moment, they all get the most devastating news to date, and that is something that Whis has told Vegeta, and Vegeta seems slightly worried, but not as worried as everybody else. Even this information got 18 shook. Goku is frozen in the universe that the Grand Priest ended up putting a timer on. He is stuck there with the rest of the evil angels and gods of destruction. Yeah, this is not good for the Z Fighters, especially if they were counting on Goku's help to win this. Now, this is actually a really cute moment. We see that the Namekians from Universe 6 actually asked the Kai to come bring them to Piccolo because they realized how much stronger Piccolo was in Universe 7 than their own Namekian race, and they are asking him to train with him and also telling him that they have some stuff that he can learn from them. They can contribute to the training. Each universe is trying to get the one-up on these evil angels in this war by any means necessary. So all universes are coming together for training, and Piccolo agrees that he will train these two Namekians. Bulma and Jocko are tasked to get Broly, Chi-Lai, and Lemo, and when Bulma meets Broly, this is actually pretty funny. She says, "Oh, I didn't think you were that tall," looking up at him like, with intrigue. Bulma looking like a total snack right now. Love the way you guys drew Bulma, Renko. This is actually a really good interpretation of her. Love her design. Like, she's probably, honestly, design-wise, my favorite character so far in this manga, and I like that she's a main player, but this obviously got Chila thinking some kind of way, and she's like, you better back the fuck off, my man, you know, even though they're not together, you better back up. And we get the interesting revelation that they all three thought this was a dream, a collective dream. The warning from the Grand Priest from his portal, they thought that it was a dream that they all had together, and that is because that was the only way the Grand Priest could show all the universes the exact same message, because some people would be sleeping. So whoever would be sleeping, they would be seeing it in their mind's eye. That's exactly what happened to Chilai, Lemo, and Broly. Something that really didn't need to be added into the manga, but I like it because it definitely develops world building and makes things feel believable. And the meeting gets cut short by the revelation of Goku being imprisoned in Universe 0. Gohan tries to rally the Earthlings, telling them that he has the right plan, he's got the right strategy for them to become far stronger than what they are right now, and they aren't really convinced. Master Roshi has been training and fighting for hundreds of years at this point, and he has basically peaked. He's an old man. Plus, he's got really good style. Krillin, on the other hand, he probably can become stronger, but feels like he can't. This is not the same Krillin from yesterday's fan manga that I read. If you guys haven't seen that fan manga, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below in the top comment. Make sure you go ahead and check it out. It is a story of what if Krillin was a Saiyan, a Krillin that really wanted to get stronger. This is the opposite of that. He doesn't believe that he can get stronger. He's just going to get in the way, and he wants to stay with Marin and 18. For years, Son Goku has been protecting us and giving his life to the weak without hesitation. If you want to stay with your people, do it. But my father and millions, billions of other people are waiting for us and need our help. This is Gohan's rallying cry to the rest of them that they need to get off their asses and come help him. This sparks a fire in Android 18 as she brings Krillin into the other room and tells him that she will back whatever decision that he wants to make, but she does believe that they are all risking their lives, that we as part of their friend group, as part of the Z Fighters, one of us should do something, and that person, it's gonna fall on Krillin. As much as I would like to see 18 fight, you guys know I love Android 18 to death, Krillin is the one that needs to man up here. Trunks is having a hard time saying goodbye to Bola as her older brother. He wants to protect her, but he wants to be with her as well. And Vegeta tells him to hurry on with Goten, go to the ship, which I like that Goten looks like a miniature Goku, like 100%. And I like it because we don't have Goku right now, so it's almost like people that love Goku and want him to be in every aspect of the story. If you remove Goku from the story, you still have mini Goku here who is just coming into his own. He's just starting his journey. And as Vegeta takes away Bola, he says, "Don't worry, princess, daddy will be back." Bola has definitely softened Vegeta's heart, and that makes 110% sense that Vegeta's heart would be thought out by Bola. Gohan managed to convince Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha to come along on this adventure, and they're all off, joining Vegeta, Goten, and Trunks in Whis' cube to be sent off somewhere else in completely different universes for training purposes. This is the beginning of the War Games arc. The first stop is Universe 9, and Vegeta's a little confused. What do you have in mind, Gohan? And Gohan says, for Yamcha, Tien, and Krillin, you'll go and see the Trio of Dangers. I haven't contacted them yet, but I'm sure they will accept. And Gohan seems certain that the Trio of Dangers would have defeated Cell or Majin Buu, so they are extremely powerful, and they can train these Earthlings to become powerful in their own right. Even though Yamcha doesn't seem like so sure about this whole situation, he doesn't seem so sure that a couple of months have anything to teach him in the sense of martial arts. I like the Trio of Dangers aspect. I don't see how they are going to be training them to become stronger, because I didn't get a sense from the Trio of Dangers when we were watching them that they were masters or teachers or anything like that. I didn't get that sense. I don't know what Renko and the team have in store for the Trio of Dangers, but I will say this, out of every character in the Tournament of Power, the Trio of Dangers to me had some of the best, if not the best, original designs for brand new characters. They were really cool designed, they had really cool powers, and I liked them a lot, so I'm glad to see them again and make a comeback in this Dragon Ball fan manga. And on the other note, we see that Bulma and Jaco are taking Broly and Chilai with Lemmo to Universe 6's planet Sadala. But before they can even finish that conversation, Jaco actually hits the ignition on their first cross-universal ship that can go between universes, which looks exactly like a Bulma ship from the Namek arc. And this ship is going across to Universe 6. So I like that they have technology now. They don't need the cube, but they have technology that brings them to different universes. The Z Fighters approach planet Calamint in Universe 9 and see that the planet is covered in a protective shielding that basically wards off anything from the outside. The cloud is about 3,000 kilometers thick, or half the radius of the planet at its center. That much, and we'll have to go through it. But no, with one blast, a huge hole opens up through the thick cloud, and it leaves an opening in the earth that visually, in my opinion, looks really interesting. I've never seen a protective coating this thick around a planet, because usually a hole like this would mean that the planet's being destroyed, but no, this is just the outer layer of the planet, almost like a hard shell candy, and Whis penetrated no problem. As Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin jump into the hole and land dead center in the planet that the trio the Dangers call home. We then get a small clip here, a panel that says, why did Gohan get off here? No idea. So where Gohan wanted to go is being kept secret, I'm assuming either till the end of this Dragon Ball fan manga chapter or the next one. We won't really know, but we do get that planet Sadala is where Vegeta is going to train, as well as he lands in the center of it, to the Saiyan's surprise that there is technology this advanced somewhere in the universe that they do not have access to. And as the Saiyan comes and approaches Vegeta, gets right in his face, Vegeta knocks him out and says, I'm not just a Saiyan, I'm your prince, you moron, as the rest of the Saiyans decide to gang up on Vegeta to take him down and give him a beating. Vegeta says, we have Saiyans here with one arm, we have Saiyans here with one eye, this is going to be child's play. As Trunks and Goten are excited as all hell to be in Beerus' planet, the one place that Goku has been all along, that Goku has been going back to constantly, Goku and Vegeta, they want to go there too and train similar to their fathers, but as they land, Beerus is having none of that. He's relaxing, he's chilling, and he doesn't want anything to do with this. It looks like the Gods of Destruction, at least Beerus, isn't really caring too much about the imminent threat of the evil angels. They're trying to get a plan together, they're trying to get these guys stronger, and yet he's still upset that they are even here. He doesn't want kids on his planet. This selfish reaction pisses off Goten, who yells at Beerus saying that my father could be dead right now. We need to get serious about it. And Beerus says, in another tone, mortal, your father is the least of our worries. In a war of this magnitude anyway, hothead as he is, Goku would have died one moment or another. Basically saying that Goku wouldn't have lasted very long in the fight to come anyway, because he is too much of a hothead, which seems to be a trait passed down to Goten, because Goten then launches an attack at Beerus, to Beerus' shock, as Trunks jumps in front of him, trying to block him, trying to make sure that Goten doesn't make a fatal error. And the one thing I gotta tell you about the top panel here is really cool, is that Goten, in mid-launch, in mid-attack, he's transforming into a Super Saiyan because he was in base form. I like the way that it's distributed throughout the panel, the way it looks, because I love it when mangas are able to portray like cool looking transformation sequences in real time just by panels. They're far more limited than animation, but sometimes techniques like this can be very effective. Move over, Trunks, as Goten doesn't realize the imminent danger that he's in, and Trunks keeps trying to get in between Beerus and Goten just keeps yelling at Trunks to move. But at that moment, Beerus comes in quick, snatches up Goten by his head, yells at him stop bawling, and throws him into the side of one of his moons. And before Goten can even breathe, Beerus is ready for that Hakai. But he wasn't very serious about it, because he honestly just knocks out Goten. But Goten was taken out far easier than his father was in the first chapter of this Dragon Ball fan manga, and Beerus just reiterates he does not want children on his planet. Tien, Krillin, and Yamcha are basically at the mercy of whoever's on this planet, and not only are they lost, they don't speak the language. These guys speak speak a completely different language, and they're surprised because the Trio of the Dangers spoke English, they spoke the same language, and now they can't communicate with anybody. But the Trio of the Dangers, after seeing what happened with the sky, they came in here to investigate, so they're actually at ground zero, and it looks like they're here to help. Vegeta takes down all the Saiyans, only to be confronted by Caulifla, who yells at him, "Why did you take out my friends?" It looks like Vegeta may have landed in the poor section of Universe 6's planet Sadala, because if you guys don't remember, that is where Caulifla stays. She stays out in the outskirts with the rebels and just dirty brigands and stuff like that. She's like a gangster. So she lives in the low poverty sector where you have to steal to get by, you have to steal to eat. And so it looks like that's where Vegeta accidentally had landed, instead of landing in the nice areas with the prime real estate and where the royalty resides. He is down here with Caulifla. Jocko is surprised the ship made it in one piece, and now they're off to Universe 6, but he does say something interesting, that this was its maiden voyage. They've never tried this out before, so this is the first time a piece of technology is breaking through the time barrier, the sound barrier, I just made that up. But you can see here on the top panel that you can see it punching, the ship punching through space-time reality. I love the designs here, guys. The creator, the artist here, he must be putting overtime in for this fan manga, because he's just hitting it out of the park. Lord Belmont will not lose his destructive powers. However, he has been a god of destruction for 3 million years, and the powers of immortality attributed to destructive deities last only as long as their reign. So what Margarita's saying is that after you become a god of destruction, you still retain some of those god of destruction abilities and powers, maybe not as strong, but you do retain them. The issue is that immortality only comes if you're still a god of destruction. If you are not a god of destruction anymore, you may have the destructive powers, but if your race has gone well beyond its years in being alive, then you're gonna die. And Belmont is ready for that sacrifice. He's realizing now that it is time to pass on the mantle. It is time for Toppo to reign out his own dominion over Universe 11 as its god of destruction in this upcoming war. They need fresh blood, and he tells Belmont that he is ready. Toppo is ready to take the mantle. Out of the ground, a statue covered in crystal that looks like some ancient deity or something that you'd see maybe out of Naruto or Hunter x Hunter comes out of the ground, and it looks like this is the device that is needed to transfer or create gods of destruction. And with the advent of this statue, the process begins to take place as a destructive title and nature and powers from Belmont are transferred to Toppo, who is finally deemed strong enough to handle them. But as this ritual takes place, something crashes off in the nearby woods, and this is left to Dispo to check it out. Which I like that it really only took a glare from Jiren to look at Dispo, and Dispo knew exactly what his role was to scout out what exactly just dropped, because they don't know if it's an enemy or not. They don't know what it is. Somebody who is coming with malevolent intention could come to try to destroy both gods of destruction in one fell swoop or something along those lines in this delicate process of transferring power. And this is the best panel in the entire chapter. This is what Belmont looks like after the transfer is complete. He's dead. Everything that he had is transferred into Toppo, and Toppo is now the god of destruction for Universe 11, leaving Belmont a statue, lifeless and decayed. Margarita really has no emotion toward this and asks Toppo how he feels, and Toppo, he's fine until he sees what became of Belmont, and rushes over to grab him and make sure he's okay, but Belmont is essentially gone. And this is a cool scene. Instinctively, Dispo and Gohan, who really weren't here to see the entire transformation, as they look at Toppo, they realize that this is not the Toppo that they knew. This is a god of destruction. And Gohan says he doesn't really understand what's going on, doesn't really understand everything that's happening here, but they're running out of time. And so he thinks that they have a lot to offer him in terms of power and ability. Caulifla is visibly shaken as to the events that just proceeded in front of her as Kaba and Kale try to figure out what is going on. "Well, there's your idol who just smashed up members of our own people," Caulifla exclaims. Kaba, continuing to climb, asks, "My idol? Who are you talking about?" Vegeta has no room for games and tells Caulifla to stop being childish and take him to the king. To this, Caulifla does not respond kindly. "What is wrong with you? You just beating up my buddies and you're giving us orders?" Caulifla, as Kaba struggles to keep her restrained and really taking one for the team holding her like that. But this brings up an important question as to the state of Planet Sadala after the Tournament of Power, because Caulifla was an outlaw and Vegeta just defeated the Planet Sadala force. So did Caulifla's standing raise after the Tournament of Power? Is she friends with the army now? By these events and this reaction, it seems so. "There's something off about that girl. What kind of rabid dog is she?" Caulifla shows Vegeta what kind of rabid dog she is as she continues to struggle and wiggle around in Kaba's arms. Vegeta orders Kale, the quietest one, to take him to her king. Okay, I'll calm down. For real? If I say so, I'm calm," Caulifla remarks as she begins to get out of Kaba's embrace. Vegeta barks another order. "Don't let her go, Kaba." And at this point, I think Vegeta knew what Caulifla was going to do as she begins to lunge straight into Vegeta with a right hook, coming for the Prince of All Saiyans. And this was when Vegeta made Caulifla rethink her life decisions, instantaneously transforming into Super Saiyan 2 and whopping her right on the dome. Vegeta's kick rolls Caulifla like a sack of potatoes to the shock and awe of Kaba. Vegeta has knocked her out. "What are you waiting for? Don't make me repeat." We move our location to an unknown planet called Planet Pillar as Hit seems to be on a mission, but behind him is a skulking Frost who is struggling to stay hidden from the assassin. The heat from the planet is getting to the scoundrel as he seems to be tailing Hit for unknown reasons, but Hit is the wrong person to play these games with as he begins to charge up his killing move. Frost is sure of it. This is Hit's assassination move, but before Frost can think, Hit is on him. "Tell me, do you have any other brilliant ideas for telling a man born to hunt?" Hit questions Frost as he struggles to figure out who hired him. Okay, calm down, will you? Nobody hired me. I only work for myself. In fact, I want my revenge, Frost explains with that sinister Frieza-like smirk. Heading back to Planet Sadala, Vegeta is being taken to Planet Sadala's palace, but he doesn't see where it is out of his gaze. Kaba tells him to look down. As a beautiful, extravagant, highly detailed palace emerges as it is bored into the core of the planet. The team behind Dragon Ball Kakumei really outdid themselves with this artwork as they do every chapter. This is beautiful. They are escorted to the King of Planet Sadala's chambers, but Caulifla unfortunately wakes up in the back of the cruiser and she yells probably one of the funniest things in Dragon Ball Kakumei and says, "You crazy bastard, you kidnapped me. If you think you're gonna get away with it." And right now Vegeta's kind of in a pickle because on the outside he can easily knock out Caulifla, but now he's in a vehicle with several other people and Caulifla's taking him from behind as the fight inside the ship makes a spectacle across the entire platform. Everyone's gawking and the Centurions who are here to guard the Planet Sadala Palace are ready to warn the king, but it seems like the king probably already knows that they've arrived. As the king enters the palace where the Saiyans from across the universes are there to greet him, and we get our first real look at the King of Planet Sadala, and he is a sight to behold. This is a Saiyan with a character design unlike any other that we've seen in probably any Dragon Ball fan manga that I've ever covered, and especially the Dragon Ball Super anime. He is a behemoth of a man and looks grizzled from war. Etched in his face is the expression of a man that is ancient. The room begins to get thick with the aura of two juggernauts facing each other, kings and royalty both staring each other down and heading to a collision course that nobody can see the outcome of, because it leads to probably one of the most honest introductions in Vegeta's history, a respectful introduction where Vegeta shakes this massive man's hand and the king is excited to learn more about the Saiyan. The king indeed is intrigued of where Vegeta comes from and what his universe is like. He's probably waited a long time since the Tournament of Power to figure out exactly where the other Saiyan counterparts come from, but Vegeta cuts this inquiry short because he has no time for stories. He came for something else, but the king cuts him off as well. Listening to or telling stories is never a waste of time, is it? Keeping the control in this conversation, Vegeta obliges and says, well, if we're gonna tell stories, I would like to know a little bit about you and this palace. Never seen a structure like this before. There is a reason for that. Our people have not always known peace. I don't know how Saiyans are in your universe, but in this one we ruled through submission and violence. Indeed, I was once an illustrious warrior driven by my thirst for battle and power. We were just a wild race, our only essence being battles. We were losing our minds. Ancestral tales from our planet refer to monkey tales, but it seems that by the simple fact that we did not use this power, we would have lost it over time. The people were divided, so King Sadala of this era proved once again his legitimacy by bringing the whole world together by even interspecies alliances, and stood up to opponents thanks to this interbreeding. At the beginning, I was just a simple army general adhering to the king's ideals and supporting him, but through unparalleled loyalty, I rose through the ranks and was recognized as the right-hand man of our king. The years passed, and from battlefield to battlefield, I saw my brothers in arms being killed, while my loyalty to my king grew stronger. I was used to seeing blood. Let the scar on my face be witness, but this time was one too many. He called himself Gurkhan the Bloody. He was the man who hated the king more than his own demons. Eternal runner-up, the king had beaten him again and again, but to have spared this man each time was fatal for him. Night and day I hunted him down, driven by my hatred, but to my amazement, the relief I coveted by killing Gurkhan was ultimately an illusion. Shoving my fist into his stomach did not fill the void I felt. When I removed it, I saw nothing but the emptiness of an endless tunnel. This shape, which was engraved in my memory, gave its shape to the current Sadala Palace. Since the previous King Sadala had not sired any offspring, and because of my hierarchical position, my people voted unanimously for me to succeed him. Even today, I can't look at myself without thinking of all my lost brothers. When I came to power, I vowed to perpetuate the ideals of our former king, to put an end to all these childish wars, and to reunite our camps. The braid I wear, I make it every morning to remember it and stick to it. A Saiyan who does not stand by his conviction is a usurper. All this talk to tell you that I think I know why you came to us, but it will be without us. Goodbye. I'm starting to understand. You're afraid of death. The shock on Kaba and the guards' faces is indescribable. Even the king has a loss for words. Has Vegeta gone too far in insulting this man? Is the king stronger than he seems? Without Frieza around, I'd be able to beat you up. I let you get your perfect form, come on. As Vegeta thinks of his past selves and how arrogant he used to be, he begins to kneel. And kneel he does, to the shock again of Kaba. Kaba not realizing what is going on, not understanding what his master is doing, and possibly losing some faith in his master's decisions, because at one point Vegeta is insulting the man, the king that Kaba holds so dearly, and at another point Vegeta is bowing, and Caulifla is also astounded by this development. King of Sadala, father of Saiyans, I implore you, whatever we do, thousands will die. It is up to us to act so that it's not our own. A king who doesn't keep his promises is a usurper. The king, who is forced to stop his guards from rushing Vegeta as he himself tries to contemplate what to do with this Saiyan. But he warns Vegeta and the guards coolly that if anything has to be done with Vegeta, it will not be the guards who do it. It will be himself. He is a warrior king, and he may have bloated ambitions as to him trying to kill or defeat Vegeta, because at this point in time, Vegeta could easily defeat the king unless the king has some hidden power that we have yet to see. But Vegeta catches his interest. Nobody has ever talked to him this way. You've heard the same thing we all have, so whether you like it or not, war will take place, and you should know that this is not just a civil war between Saiyans. So here's my question. What will you do when the enemy enters your land? Welcome them with a white flag? As pacifist as you want to be, if you are really one of those whose king you claim to be, your instinct will never allow you to do so. I can't guarantee that nobody will die, but I swear to make each and every one of you my people worthy of the name. I might not work miracles, but I'll make sure that all of us can look after our own. There's a lot of hidden potential among you, I'm sure about that, as he looks over with a smile to a tied up Caulifla. The energy off the king is immense enough to put Kaba in a stranglehold and get Vegeta's attention. What will the king answer? What will he do next? Will he destroy Vegeta on the spot or challenge him and his authority, or will he proceed with Vegeta's plan? But it looks like it's not just the intensity of the decision that weighs on the king's shoulders, but the king actively is pushing away Ki from his body to show a demonstration of force against Vegeta. As everyone else is struggling to stand firm, Vegeta easily does so. With an expression of sadness on his face, the king gathers his thoughts and he tells Vegeta that he will gather the entire force of the Saiyan army. That way he can announce the next part of their training. You won't regret it. I do not live with regret, Saiyan. And with that, Vegeta has his Great Saiyan army. The same exact events that happened in the Dragon Ball fan manga Dragon Ball V seem to be taking place here, as well as the Saiyans and their entire force meet at the palace for Vegeta to begin his training of them. It looks like we're going to be getting an army of possible Super Saiyans, if not Super Saiyan gods or Blues. This is the army Vegeta has been hoping for. The Saiyans finally assemble after Vegeta convinces the king of planet Sadala to allow them to train and gain the next evolutionary state. That way they can have a chance to face off in this multi-universal war. Listen to me, all Saiyan people. I and your ancestors fought to make peace speak, but those days are unfortunately over. All of us were shocked by the announcement of the Grand Priest, and we must prove that we know how to defend ourselves against these fomenters of revolt. We Saiyans are a people who live in the facts and not in the dreamlike conception of the world around us. So raise your fist and please welcome the heir of the neighboring universe. Let us fight hand in hand. Let's fight for our own glory. Be to our people.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Days later, the multi-dimensional, multi-universal ship finally lands in planet Sadala. Broly's escort has finally landed in this new universe, as Jocko quickly scouts out to find Vegeta as soon as possible. As the drone scans planet Sadala for Vegeta, the team decide it's time to go get a bite to eat, and they all head over to the nearest restaurant, relieved they don't have to eat any more of Broly's rations again.
That was vile. You owe me big.
The rest of the team easily orders their food, but Broly, after researching and looking through the entire menu, comes up to the conclusion that there are only 3 items to eat, and Chilai told him restaurants have many choices. No matter how much Chilai has taught Broly, he still can't read, he still can't count, and he's only looking at the pictures. The drone finally pings Vegeta hanging out with Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla, shooting a message back to Jocko that they are found.
Vegeta, not realizing whose drone this is, immediately puts it out of its misery, and now unfortunately Jocko is the one who's going to have to pay for that drone to be replaced.
Oh god, I'm screwed.
But now that Vegeta has been found, Jocko heads straight away to his location, that way they can team up and see exactly what the progress of the Saiyans training has brought. Back in Universe 7, a few hours before this incident, Piccolo says goodbye to Gohan, who is going off to Universe 11 to train with the Pride Troopers. Train hard, Gohan. Count on me. By the way, Videl, why don't I take Pan to meditate or even train with me? Come on, Piccolo. I hope you're joking. I trained Gohan when he was only 4 years old. Well, those days are over. Thanks, bye. No respect for Piccolo.
So, Mr. Piccolo, what are you going to teach me today? A brand new technique? How to sense energy? What about how to fly?
Dodge!
Later that night, Pan sits comfy in her bed, reading her manga when she hears the footsteps of her parents and quickly begins to turn off the lights and pretend to fall asleep. Gohan immediately knows that Pan is faking it. He sees the manga on the ground and he knows that she was reading it and that she doesn't really need to pretend to fall asleep with him. Pan apologizes and Gohan stares at her blankly, then lays next to her. Listen, honey, what I'm about to tell you is really important and will be useful for the rest of your life. People will always try to impose their vision on you, but what really matters is what you want inside. So never let anyone tell you what to do. You are pure of heart. I'm sure you will never hurt anyone. Why are you saying weird words, Daddy? Oh, it's true, you're only 3 years old. 3.5 soon. Anyway, sleep well. Gohan steps out forgetting how young his daughter is, and Pan wakes back up to read her manga. Hi there, Vegeta. You don't feel like you've destroyed a very expensive gadget by any chance? I don't give a damn about your robot. What do you want from me? What I want? I had to travel for 2 days just for your wife and 3 scoundrels. Yes. Vegeta makes his way back to Bulma at the food stand, and she warmly reconnects with Kaba, instantly remembering him from the Universe 6 tournament. But she begins to bring up a blank when it comes to Caulifla and Kale. She doesn't remember either of them, and Vegeta never mentioned them. Caulifla thinks it's very uncool that Vegeta would just blank them out like that, not telling her anything about some of the strongest fighters in Universe 6. And Vegeta explains, I didn't want to bother my wife talking about such gross people as you. Always trying to prompt a rise from Caulifla, but instead of Caulifla fighting back like she did in the earlier chapter, she ends up just walking home, realizing the power of Vegeta and its connection to the king of planet Sadala. Bulma did not like the way that Vegeta talked to this girl, and this leads Kaba to just end up leaving as well. Something he's got to do, urgent business, and runs off after Caulifla. Only cowards on this planet. Kale thinks it's about time that she leave too, seeing as how her 2 friends also have left, but Bulma makes it clear that you're running away as well. We need someone to guide us through the city. Come on, it'll be fun. But in this moment, mid-chew, Broly turns around to Kale and they lock eyes as fate itself has connected the 2 of them. Unflinching, continually staring, Chi jumps up between them, trying to get them to budge and move, but they are staring each other down. Broly, and you are... Kale. It takes everything Kale has to muster inside of her for her to say the next statement, and that is, that's okay, I don't have anything better to do anyway. We can go downtown if you want. Bulma jumps up, excited to have another female presence in the group. They reach their final destination, but Chi is a little bit put off with the intense staring session that Broly and Kale had earlier, and Broly tries to figure out what's going on, but Chi won't budge on what she's feeling. Kale brings the group to a downtown section of planet Sadala's main city, and this downtown section looks to have shops, gift shops, amusement park rides, restaurants, a bunch of different things for them to do, but Chi wishes that Kale wasn't their guide till the end. She doesn't want anything to do with her. Look, people seem to be really busy here. Where do you come from, actually? I mean, how things go in your home planet? To be honest, I've actually never done anything else than hunting. There's neither people nor much to do in my home place. But there is Chilai, and I love her, as Broly picks up Chilai and puts her on his shoulders. Bulma sees the staunch similarities between this area of Planet Sadala's city center and Earth. Vegeta sees it too and says, well, there's nothing special here, let's go, it's time to go. Broly has a great time in the city center, looking at delicious foods, playing games with all the children, looking at the amusement park, enjoying everyone's fashion sense, and that is when Broly is called out by a couple of wannabe gangsters and thugs, saying that he is in their territory, in their spots, even stealing their females. Who does he think he is? But Bulma puts a quick stop to that. Bulma, being on a completely different level in this Dragon Ball fan manga, yells at them, "Do you think this is how you treat females? Be gone now," and expels these hoodlums away from their party. It doesn't seem to matter which universe you're in, you're always going to have bad apples in each one, but Bulma decides that it is actually a good point that Broly shouldn't be walking around shirtless, especially around all these women, and he should have something covering him up. Bulma pulls out a dish-shaped capsule corp tech, something new we've never seen, but Bulma makes the fatal mistake in trying to remove Ba's pelt away from Broly, and Broly instinctively grabs Bulma's arm, accidentally hurting it. But Kale stops the interaction and says that she doesn't mind the pelts at all, and if the smell does bother Bulma, then she does have a perfume maker that she knows that can get rid of it, something that Broly 100% takes to heart. And Bulma honestly had no idea that the pelt meant so much to him, but decides, let's go ahead and continue with putting on this shirt for you. But it's not a actual shirt, it looks to be some sort of Capsule Corp nanotech technology, and it seems to be some sort of armor encompassing Broly's form, bringing him up to the next level, even though he seems to think it's really tight. But Chilai definitely thinks that it's an improvement, which Broly is 100% happy with. We cut to a brand new planet, Planet Crepe, where Whis is sitting there with Trunks and Goten, showing them Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks on his staff. Whis is getting the lowdown on what Trunks and Goten can do, and that is exactly what he's using his staff for, trying to see the history of their fighting prowess. And Goten and Trunks are really excited to relive this moment and begin to jump back into fusion, but Whis tells them, no, I strictly forbid you to use fusion for now.
Great. I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again, I wasn't listening.
Allow me to explain you the following. The goal of the first part of this training is to reach the Gotenks maximum level for the both of you, otherwise a power close to your fullest potentials. There will be 3 steps. First one consists to become one with your inner selves. To put it easier, you will have to be able to unleash all your power in one blow, be it with physical contact or not. For this, you will have to face your weaknesses, your emotions, and your inner demons. Here is the first exercise. A plastic ball is in the center of the device, and a light that will appear either red or green is above. When at least one of the sides of the device will be hidden, the red light will appear. Furthermore, hitting both sides simultaneously will make the green light appear. Therefore, your goal is to activate both red and green light, and for your hits to be hard enough and of the same intensity so the ball in the center explodes from the pressure as well. To succeed, rigor, focus, and explosiveness will be needed, though according to me, the hardest part will still be the perfect synchronization needed for the ball to explode.
Great. I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again, I wasn't listening.
So he's trying to get both Goten and Trunks to have equilibrium 110%. That way, this will make the Gotenks fusion a lot stronger. And with that, Goten and Trunks training is about to begin. Attention, the training will start. You are the 5th squad. Remembered it well. You already know the 3 admirals standing besides me. Admiral Ruba, the most powerful man on the planet. Admiral Lariok, experienced strategist and a bold warrior, the man who've won a battle without mobilizing any soldiers. Admiral Fennel, best of the best at the fight. She successfully dismantled 182 smuggling rings. If I were you, I wouldn't try to hide anything from her. You will make 4 mixed groups. Each group will go in front of the other, the admirals or myself. Have I been clear? Yes, sir. I haven't heard anything yet. Louder, have I been clear? Yes, sir! I feel like I'm gonna enjoy this job. Vegeta notices Caulifla not getting along with certain members of the Planet Sadala Force and decides to place her in a specific group instead of letting her choose. What? I thought we would get to choose our own group. Don't argue as Vegeta rushes up, grabs her by the hair, and instinctively turns into Super Saiyan all at the same time at lightning speed, surprising even the admirals, leading only one admiral to voice his concern. Vegeta, it will be better if you don't use this form. How? Did I hear you right? Who allowed you to call me by my name? This leads the Planet Sadala squad, the army, to start having mixed thoughts and mixed feelings about Vegeta. Will he fight Ruba, the strongest warrior on Planet Sadala, or will he respect the prestige of one of its honorary warriors? You all be quiet. What are those whisperings for? Huh? Do you realize the lack of respect you're showing? That's not the point. Reacting like that isn't appropriate for a proper Saiyan soldier. Such behaviors are unworthy of us. Although, if this Vegeta has an issue with us, I guess we'll have to deal with 2 big issues in that case. Aside from the king, everyone is skeptical about your ability to lead us. The admirals slowly but surely turning on the Prince of all Saiyans.
It's treason, then.
Now what? You're doubting about my legitimacy? The Sadala squad is quite confused and looking at Vegeta with a great deal of concern as Vegeta realizes that he's quickly losing the attention of the army. All 3 admirals square up on Vegeta. They will test his power right away. They will test it and see exactly how far he will go to quell insubordination in his ranks. Calm down, everybody. We will find a compromise. Yes, listen to Kaba. Silence! You seem to forget who you're talking to. I am Vegeta! And with a tremendous explosion, God Ki surges through Vegeta's body, and he is ready to quell this disturbance. Nip it in the bud. Come at me! Come at me! Leave if you want to, you cowards, but I won't be able to look you in the eye. So don't come crying the day the enemy knocks on your door to kill your people. Now you're facing us. You look at me like I'm a monster, a bloodthirsty beast. But do you understand now how it feels to be weak? Do you understand what it's like not to be able to protect your own against an enemy that is far too dangerous? Come on, guys, transform! Repugnant. The only thing you can count on in these days are robots. You are all more disappointing than each other. All that drama. Let us settle our accounts. It's better for every— Silence! Settle your accounts, I do not care. But never use this demonic form on my planet. If I catch you again, I will banish you. Come, Bulma. I've been swimming at full speed for about 20 minutes. I've lost them for sure. You're welcome. super easy to be an assassin, actually. What's your problem, huh? You can't hit your targets anymore? Or am I just better than you? You will leave me alone from now on until the end of time. Have I made myself clear? Ouch. Oh my, it hurts like hell. I accept under one condition. Prove your superiority to me. Come on and fight. Grand Priest, I have tried every single thing to cover you, but the kings will find out sooner or later. It is not a big deal. Do not put yourself in more danger. Right. If Lord Belmont is, Margarita has no right to bring him back to life, nor to discredit his years accumulated at once. Nevertheless, there is still hope that Lord Belmont is still with us, and if so, she's keeping him alive at the moment. That said, now that I'm here, you know how much I share your sense of justice, which is why I'd love to join the Pride Troopers. You really picked the wrong time if you ask me. I sincerely apologize, I shouldn't have bothered you at a time like this. Gohan, we're a bit on edge because we had to rush the Divine Immortality passing ritual, but we don't blame you personally. In any case, we can't integrate you into the Pride Troopers simply on your request, so if you accept it, you'll come on a mission with us and we'll evaluate you. I accept with great pleasure. Thank you, Jiren. Silence. I can hear his breath. Lord Belmont is alive. Damn, robot. It's going to take a few more tweaks, obviously. Anyway, here's to us, 17. You're that guy from Universe 3. Pepperami, right? What are you doing on my island? But that's impossible. My tracer indicated that. Beep, beep. You have arrived. Pepperoni, number 17. I'm here because I have a proposition for you. How about teaming up with me? I went so far as to create an android based on the DNA of the Supreme Kai of my universe to come to yours. And to get me, you took my DNA too? Just a hair of nothing. Don't you dare do that again. Alright, and I'm not interested in your proposal. But take a step back. Think about your family. How will you defend them? I don't need to defend them. Arrogant. Do you have any idea who your enemies are at this time? It doesn't matter. If you die, that's how it goes. Dad! Saphir, Pearl, what are you doing here? I took them to play and we overheard you talking, darling. Dad, we don't want to die, and we don't want you to die either. No one is going to die, my love. We have many years of joy left to live. Well, what's the plan? Pepperoni. It has been 1 month since Gohan joined the Pride Troopers in Universe 11. He walks through a quiet street as rain pours around him, and two soldiers realize that he doesn't have a badge and call him out, but Gohan quickly hides himself in a group of sexy aliens and he's disappeared and he's gone. But he's leapt miles into the sky. He almost got caught. For the first time ever, Gohan uses his own powers for stealth and espionage. He is there to find a green bottle in a room, a devastating virus that was artificially made for this country to sell it to a neighboring country that they will use in warfare. These are the types of missions Jiren and the Pride Troopers are involved in. Such pressure. If I miss, countries and even a whole continent may suffer. I'll only have one chance. Let's go. But when Gohan enters the room, he stops a meeting of nefarious intent. When asked why Gohan is there, Gohan quickly jumps into character. I am a financial controller and I come to do a financial audit. Quickly realizing that the bottled virus is actually right there to his right and they may be in the middle of trying to sell it. Dad, what would you do in my place? Hi, Gohan. Need some advice, right? Yeah.
Well, if I were you, I'd evaluate the power of my opponents so as to defeat the strongest first so that the others would leave without worrying about the bottle. I should have known. Thanks, Dad. You're welcome, son. I hope I could help you. And with that, Goku actually gives Gohan some solid advice. But in that moment, Gohan absolutely does not take it and instead throws a flash grenade in the middle of the meeting, grabbing the virus, running off because he did not mean to hurt anyone in this mission. Running through the building, Gohan tries to memorize the layout that he previously looked at before the mission, trying to figure out exactly how to get out with the villains and security on his tail. But unfortunately for him, he was caught like a mouse in a trap. Jiren and the Pride Troopers are waiting patiently for Gohan, but they have not heard back from him for 30 minutes, and so they don't know exactly what's going on in there, and they need to act quickly. If they have to, they will intervene in this mission, and that is when we get our first real close-up of the gruesomeness that Belmont has to go through to get back to tip-top fighting shape. Remember, Belmont sacrificed himself, giving up his God of Destruction powers to Topo, and so he was supposed to die, but was saved by Margarita. Now he is here trying to recuperate his strength, and this is what he looks like a month later. On planet Crepe, Goten and Trunks go at it in their training to get stronger in order to defeat the evil angels. Goten, focus, your hand was off. Let's do it again. Okay. Focus, Goten. What's that thick, warm feeling? Get in touch with yourself, of course. Where am I? What's that, a door? What's behind it? He told us to face our demons. Is there a connection? I feel a pressure. Goten, 3, 2... Goten, 3, 2, 1. Wait, Trunks! I saw a door there in my head. What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Don't know. And Whis doesn't enlighten us further. I see. Back on planet Earth, Pan finally is ready to train with Piccolo, similar to the DBS superhero movie. But remember, Piccolo is in the middle of training with the Universe 6 Namekians, and they have a brand new ability to teach him and show him exactly how far they've come in the past 2 years. And Piccolo easily mimics and learns this new ability faster than expected. He is ascending beyond what his normal limits imply. He is learning straight from these Namekians from Universe 6 how to go even further beyond the normal Namekian form, and Piccolo is grateful. This artwork is fantastic and it shows exactly which level they are ascending to and how it looks like when they go even further beyond. We rewind the clock a month earlier where Frost had challenged Hit to one-on-one battle. That way Hit actually teaches him how to use assassination techniques. The only way that Hit would do it is if Frost could defeat him in this fight. But after showing him just one of his abilities, one of his techniques, it seems to be far too much for Frost. It literally caves this dude's chest in, and we actually find out a little bit more about his ability, the one that's the insta-kill. It looks like this ability is Hit actually grabbing onto his opponent's heart and making it burst. But despite all odds, Frost actually resists this death blow and pulls back. This in and of itself is actually really surprising. Hit is shocked that Frost could have handled this ability without succumbing and dying right there and then, as Frost takes pleasure in the fact that he actually won this bout. But Frost retaliates quickly with an attack of his own, hitting Hit right in his own heart, surprising Hit at the speed and the ferocity that Frost can unleash against the assassin. But of course, this is even close to the limit of Hit's abilities because he always has a card up his sleeve and actually had used clones to deceive Frost into believing that he was safe. Every clone attacks simultaneously all at once, and Frost tries his damnness to deceive and evade each and every attack, in the end actually thinking he came out of this without a scratch, but in reality, he lost his leg. And although admirable that Frost was able to last this long and even land a blow, he has his limits as well, and he seems to have reached them. We fast forward again in time 1 month into the training for this war, and we see that Vegeta is here testing the next generation of Saiyans
on Universe 6's planet Sadala. You have to know the difference between going headlong and deliberately creating an opening to counterattack. Well, let's take a break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. They're really few. Thanks, Mr. Vegeta. Although there are not many of them, seeing them train fills me with pride. Vegeta checks up on the rest of the training as the command staff trains each individual Saiyan prodigy, as Caulifla learns not to just jump into any situation, and both Broly and Kale learn how to deal with their innermost power, more specifically Kale learning how to have confidence in her own abilities and learning how to use them well. And surprisingly, Cabba's lesson is that he lets himself get too worked up in his emotions and worked up into an outrage. He needs to think logically, with patience and bravery. That should take precedent over his own instincts, and that way he can be a better Saiyan in combat. This is something that I didn't see for Cabba, seeing as Cabba is kind of like very reserved and he really doesn't show much emotion. But if you think about it, every single time that Cabba has gone to Super Saiyan, it's because someone had triggered him into getting that response. So yeah, he does become emotional every once in a while. Seriously, what are you doing here? It's Vegeta who asked me to gather you here. I'll be brief. I've been among your groups today. Your respective admirals seem to have things to teach you. That's good. But as far as the fight is concerned, you're already far beyond them. Then we'll meet up every night to face each other. Draw your best forms. And with that, every Saiyan there transforms, except for Broly. Broly, take back that form you had during our previous fight, no matter how out of control you get. Since our fight, I have never taken this form again, and I have only vague memories of it. I see. Kale, you'll teach him. Perfect. But in the meantime, your Super Saiyan will do the trick. Are you ready? Morning comes and all 3 Universe 6 Saiyans are down for the count. The only 2 standing are Vegeta and Broly. Caulifla realizes the extent of Broly's power, and so does Vegeta, surprisingly. He states that Broly actually has reached a level that he could never have imagined. This is something far beyond the level that they had in the fight with Broly on planet Earth so long ago. Kale also surprised him, and he knows that he's going to have a great teacher for Broly in her. Everyone gets a little bit of love except for Caulifla, and even Caulifla states that it would rip your tongue out to show pride in me, apparently, even though Caulifla actually didn't do too bad that night. Honestly, love Caulifla's design in Kakumei. It's so, I don't know, skater boyish, you know, like Avril Lavigne or 2000s punk skaters. I love that design, man. Vegeta returns back to the training grounds to find that every Saiyan there had stayed overnight, similar to what Vegeta had done with his students. They stayed there, they did not want to go home, they wanted to reach the next level. Surprisingly, the students that he had the day before had reached out to more Saiyans on the planet, and now they have an entire army that they can train for this task. The Saiyans that have shown up that day, they're not normal Saiyans like the rest of them on Universe 6. These are Saiyans that are intrigued by Vegeta training in the old ways, the old Saiyan pride ways, and Vegeta realizes this and tells them, warns them even, that this training, it may certainly be your end. It may lead to your doom, and they have no other choice, no other options. They are willing to die for the fight that is to come. Vegeta finally has some true and real Saiyans coming voluntarily to fight along his side. In the end, we may well win this war, Kakarot. Waifu alert, waifu alert. We have a Saiyan waifu alert. It seems that Bulma has been spending time the last month in a household led by a Saiyan waifu. And when I tell you waifu, bro, check this cutie out, guys. She is fucking adorable. But through her, we find out one of the most interesting characteristics of Universe 6's planet Sadala, and that is that the Tuffles are a race that is on the planet. They live alongside the Saiyans, and she is actually married to one, meaning that her son is part Saiyan, part Tuffle, and the Tuffles seem to be an extremely smart and creative race compared to the Saiyans' more warlike nature, so he is a hybrid with the benefits of all sides. Bulma would love to meet her
her husband and the Tuffles, and that is when you find out that they actually built the technology, the expansive technology on the planet, and she is more than happy to bring her to them later on. And you get to see this awesome panel of the technology building that the Tuffles work out of. This is the highest technology in all of Universe 6. Yamcha, Krillin, and Tien have gone to planet Calumet to face off against the trio of the Dangers and train with them, seeing as how they were some of the best warriors in the Tournament of Power. Honestly, the best designed warriors in the Tournament of Power, in my opinion. But they don't know anything about a war, and that is because the atmosphere outside the planet is so dense. The actual message from the Grand Priest never got through, so they have no idea that there is a war, an upcoming war, that there's anything they need to be training about. They have no idea about any of this. But once explained, the fight is on, and they are ready to train these humans in the art style of their planet. Tien attacks. He actually ends up using After Image against Bergamo, using a little bit of that Earthling power against one of the trio. Krillin jumps in with Destructo Disc, but it is easily evaded, and that is when he goes to his most popular move. At least to me, it's his most popular, and that is Solar Flare. Completely blinded, Yamcha goes into his signature move, Wolf Fang Fist, and attacks a blinded Bergamo 100%, but each hit he delivers actually makes Bergamo stronger. Remember, he gets bigger and bigger and bigger the more hits he takes. But before the werewolf comes down on poor little Yamcha, Tien comes in with a mighty kick, delivering it straight into Bergamo's jaw. But again, this is just making him stronger. This is the issue with facing this opponent in this way. They decide it is time for a beam struggle to show what the power of three combined Earthlings is against one of this race. The rest of the trio realize the power of these three Earthlings, that they are extremely promising because their unique and combined attacks are overwhelmingly positive, but individually their power is lacking. That's similar to what the trio of the Dangers are. That's why they were sent there to train with them, because the trio of the Dangers can show them the way. But just like the Saiyan fight, we cut straight to the ending of this, and the Earthlings actually got defeated because Bergamo had to go serious, and he actually almost forgot why he was here. He ended up ending their careers before they began, but the training has just begun, and that is the reason that they're there. In the same universe, the God of Destruction Sidra and Supreme Kai Ro, they scheme, and this scheme is actually found out by their angel attendant Mojito. Now, they don't explain to Mojito what this scheming possibly is, and Mojito says that he has his eye on them, but it is quite clear, given the environment, that more than likely they may be thinking of switching sides to the evil angels, leaving an open wound in the universe's defense forces, leaving its opening so that way the angels, when they return, they can easily conquer Universe 9. But the trio of the Dangers feel that they can actually trust their God of Destruction and their Supreme Kai, which, honestly, with history given, it's probably not the best move. And after some bonding between the Earthlings and the trio, Yamcha makes a declaration that they are fighting for Goku, and the spirit of Goku is forever entwined in their very being. Dr. Papoy makes the androids of Universe 7 an offer that they cannot refuse, and that is free upgrades in order for them to even be viable as combatants in the upcoming Universal War. And 18 and 17 are ready to go. 18 is wearing the exact same outfit she wore back in Dragon Ball Z, as 17 wears exactly what he wore back in the Tournament of Power. And as 17 says goodbye to his smoking hot wife, they will be taken to a different dimension, a different universe, with Dr. Papoy with his new invention called the Shinbot that is able to take them wherever they want to go. But before they leave, Hercule and Boo stop them, and we get some of the most hilarious dialogue that we've ever seen from Hercule. Hello there, we come to you at the request of the mayor. The only electronic devices still working at the town hall all burnt out. After indicating the position of Krillin's house for a brief second, the presence of an unknown device. Has the war started, or is it a false alarm? This entire dialogue text basically shows that Shinbot burned out all electronic devices in the area, but I find it hilarious that it's coming from Hercule. Like, I can't imagine Hercule's voice reading all this dialogue, so it seems a little bit far-fetched to me. But after Hercule introduces himself as the strongest person on the planet,
he gets completely sidetracked and loses sight of the mission after he gets a glimpse at Crystal, the supermodel star that is standing right before him, who is 17's wife. And Hercule is about to risk it all trying to mac on 17's waifu. But as this is going on in the background, Boo becomes curious as to what the hell Shinbot actually is. Is it a toaster? Is it an air fryer? Is there food inside? What is this thing? Well, there's only one way to find out, and Boo eats the entire Shinbot. This inadvertently turns on the teleportation, and 18, in a really badass scene with great artwork, decides to try to stop him before it's too late. But unfortunately, Boo has been teleported somewhere unknown to a different dimension. But because there was no coordinates for Shinbot to take Boo into any other universe, there's nowhere else for him to go. Shinbot takes Boo to a different dimension in this same universe, and that is the Demon Realm. We are almost there. 400,000 souls are within our grasp. We are about to complete the 400k mortal plan. If you love Dragon Ball, whether it be fan-made or official release, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and get us over the threshold, guys. Once we reach 400k, I have a special surprise for each and every one of you. Universe 11, we cut back to Gohan's main mission to take the package away from the villain's hands, and because he's being stopped by guards and henchmen, he has no other choice than to actually beat their ass. After the commotion, the Pride Troopers come in and try to save Gohan, fearing the worst because remember, this is his first undercover mission, but Gohan obviously is fine. The police are there, the army's there, and they're all going to arrest the evildoers. And Dispo even asks Gohan, why did you just walk through the building and walk out the front door when you could have just flown out the window you came in from? And Gohan really doesn't have a solid answer for that. But after that, it is time to celebrate, and the general takes an immediate liking to Gohan, asking him all sorts of questions about his family. To everyone's surprise, Gohan explains that he has a daughter and a wife waiting for him back at home, and Dispo actually has a litter of his own. But then we get to the most badass scene in this chapter. Cross paths with death, but the current between us wasn't very strong, so I decided to come back. Trunks and Goten's training has reached a standstill. They really haven't gotten any further in synchronizing themselves with Whis' help. But being the sons of Saiyans like Goku and Vegeta means they cannot give up, and they continue to meditate and try to find some balance in between themselves. They enter their deep subconscious, where they originally saw this door in the last chapter. But now it's not just Goten who sees this door, Trunks sees this door as well. And in the reflection of the door, they see Gotenks. They both realize that they see Gotenks in the reflection of the door, but they cannot see each other. Only for a split moment in the door can they see each other. So they come up with a plan to synchronize their movements. That way they can become complete balance. And this opens the door, which leads us to Gotenks. They both see him and meet him as an actual person. Whis had told them once they opened the door, they would be face to face with their demons, but it looks like their demons is Gotenks. The training has finally paid off because now they know that they need to be in complete sync even without being Gotenks. So they need to do this when they are both separate entities. And with that said, they press the button to Whis' machine at the exact same time with the exact same energy and the exact same method, and that brings full synchronization. And Whis has finally had them complete the first part of their training. As one level of training ends, another begins, and Whis knows now that Beerus is heading back to his home planet. And much to the Oracle Fish's protest on coming along or not being left behind, Beerus will go home because, in his own words, with the war approaching, the only company I need is that of the perpetuity of silence, so I'll go alone. That's my last word. Beerus dons the sickest outfit that we've seen Beerus ever have in any Dragon Ball fan manga or animation. This is complete fan-made fan art type of outfit, and I 100% love it. I miss that feeling. So you came too? Yeah, I've been waiting for you for a month, you idiot. I haven't been here in over 1,000 years, father. How would he have acted in our situation? This whole thing gives me a headache. It's sure that he'd do much better than you. Speak for yourself, asshole. You are entering the second stage of your training. You must now unlock your godly potential. It is a necessary step to reach stage 3 of your preparation, Godly Key. Good luck. I welcome you two to the planet Lestia. Here are 2 spheres of God Key. My only advice, assimilate them. What? That's all? Are you kidding us? No, that's right. Assimilate them, after which this step will be closed. It's too slow. Here we go. Bearable. Oh, perhaps I should have warned you. Apart from your fathers, no mortal has survived these spheres for several million years. It is a miracle that you're still conscious. What is this thing? What are we supposed to do? I'll be stronger than my father. I have to hold on. Damn it. Have I overestimated them? It was, however, only one of my spheres less charged in energy. Whis, when you say assimilate, it means to keep this stuff in our body. Exactly, yes. I'll be stronger than my father. Back on planet Sadala, Vegeta meditates, trying to hone in as much of his godly ki as sanely possible, while Kefla is training Broly on how to come to terms and be one with the erratic Ikari ki that flows through his veins. Other Saiyans as Kaba and Caulifla are training and honing their Super Saiyan transformations, making them far more powerful and far more potent. But the king has come to finally put an end to all this training. Vegeta antagonizes the king, saying that he has come to witness their training several times over, but he has never once participated, and that is when the king demands them to leave. They must leave the planet at dawn. He has had enough of the Saiyans. Vegeta resists, but the king sets his guards on Vegeta, who easily throws them away. But as Vegeta instinctively goes to strike the king, he stops himself in mid-punch, realizing he cannot harm the monarch of this planet. But with one mighty blow, the king has no problems dealing Vegeta a severe and mighty blindside. The king deems these people traitors to the Saiyans. Any Saiyan that uses the Super Saiyan transformation needs to leave the planet at once, and this is where the battle begins. Vegeta is thrilled at the prospect of fighting the pacifist king, or so he says, and is actually surprised as to how powerful this normal king, who only seems to have base form, actually is. The king actually ends up catching Vegeta completely off guard with a tremendous ki blast, one that completely destroys the surrounding area, and Vegeta is on the back foot. Vegeta strikes at the king back and forth, and even condemns him for not joining the Tournament of Power to save his own universe, calling him a coward as Vegeta continues to attack and barrage the king, trying to get him off his guard. No matter what strike, what blow Vegeta deals the king barely moves an inch. He is like a boulder that is able to catch Vegeta off guard again and again by using unpredictable fighting tactics. This is not the king's first rodeo. But even when Vegeta deals a vicious and to anybody else deadly blow, the king brushes it off and flings Vegeta back to the ground. Vegeta is not welcome on the planet anymore. The king wants him gone. The king uses a deadly barrage of ki, one that Vegeta has been planning for the entire trip. First time in any combat, Ultra Instinct Omen, only for a split second. And with the complete and utter evasion that Ultra Instinct affords him, he is able to dodge every single ki blast and march right up to the king's face, mid-transforming into Super Saiyan. The king collapses after seeing the Super Saiyan transformation. This is something that he was not ready to confront, not in front of all his subjects, but the subjects are now wondering whether Vegeta is the king or the king of Sadala remains as the ruling monarch. The king explains that in the midst of the battle with the previous king, he transformed into a Super Saiyan for a moment, but because he transformed into a Super Saiyan, he could not control any of his abilities, could not control any of his rage, and so he ended up destroying many different countless lives in direct or indirect combat. he is ashamed of everything that he did with this demonic form that he himself did not want to go into. And so he carries shame and guilt for destroying so many lives all those years ago. But Vegeta explains that the Super Saiyan transformation is the transformation that is their legacy, their bloodline. It is not something to be feared. He was able to use this transformation to save many people, just like Kaba transformed to save his universe. Vegeta says that the one thing that really changed him could be his family. That's one way to look at it, but the number one thing that he knows 100% is the reason that he changed from his old savage ways, and why the transformation in and of itself is not evil, is not demonic, and it's just who you are that exemplifies the transformation. The person that changed him was his rival, who became his best friend. And so with the spirit of Kakarot, he reaches out to the king and asks for a truce. Become brothers in arms, do not fear this transformation, and fight along with us because you are a powerful Saiyan. And the king shakes his hand, taking him up on that offer. And we end the chapter with Videl finally teaching Hercule how to fly.
Deep in dream sleep, the Venerable Heir hears his name being called out again and again by a familiar voice, one that he has not heard in quite some time. With the constant shouting, the Venerable Heir finally awakens, but it seems that both him and the person trying to wake him up in the first place have huge memory loss and don't know why they are here or exactly where they're at. The door was blocked by an enchantment, one which the man trapped with the Venerable Heir, who claims to be a wizard, could break easily. But this is where we get our first notion that the Venerable Heir kind of remembers people's names, because he's asking Salaga, where is he? The wizard leads him outside, out of the tomb, out of the cell, and opens the door to show a blinding light, and they find themselves in Universe 14 on planet Bread. But once they're out, immediately afterwards, the man that the Venerable Heir was looking for, called Salaga, arrives in a battered condition. Salaga explains that he actually woke up well before either of them two did, and they would not wake up for him, so he decided to leave the tomb. But once out on the planet, he was attacked by banshee-looking creatures that stole his vitality, that took away his ki and energy, and he needed to adapt quickly or else he would be overcome and killed, and he used his new abilities to finally be able to defeat them. But after surviving the harshness of this world for an unknown amount of time, he is glad that the Venerable Heir and his wizard both are alive, both are awake, and now he has successfully completed his mission to protect the Venerable Heir at all costs. But Salaga found something out being out in the world for so long, something that he even to himself shudders to think about, but the bewitchments that locked them all inside that tomb, that made them forget everything, they are strangely similar to those of Lord Dromel, which is one of the erased gods of destruction that has come back due to 17's wish. But the wizard is absolutely not understanding this, because Lord Dromel would never betray them, he would never throw them into prison. It does not make any sense. But whether it makes sense or not, the Venerable Heir also has come to that conclusion. They have been betrayed by the god of destruction of this world, and possibly his angel, and so they need to get in contact with them very quickly, and this is where we learn the wizard's name. His name is Dula. Dula uses his powers to summon a massive ship. Now, whether the power of summoning the massive ship is something that he developed from ki or the magic that teleports the ship here, I don't really know, but it's been ages since he's used this power before, and honestly, I like this trio already. I like this stoic and cold antagonist or protagonist with two bodyguards seemingly, one of them being a wizard and the other one being a warrior that obviously knows how to fight and knows how to train, knows how to adapt to new possibilities and situations. I really think this grouping is pretty cool, and I think it actually works for the story. But as Salaga stares at the Venerable Heir, he is overcome with the realization that the Venerable Heir is actually sick. He has a heartbeat that it's irregular, his blood pressure is unstable, so whatever happened before or after they were trapped in this tomb,
it could be something that is affecting him physically and altering his health. So he may not be in the best position to face off against a god of destruction that has betrayed him. But he reassures himself and reassures the Venerable Heir by saying that whatever comes next, whatever happens, he knows the Venerable Heir will make the right decision for everyone. This video is brought to you by Soulless Legions, breaking the limits of strategy games by hosting thousands of ability combinations. Soulless Legion is a free-to-play online PvP tug-of-war combination strategy game that allows players a lifetime of customization and strategic inquiry. You choose from 2 factions with a wide variety of unique abilities to build an unstoppable force to outwit and overpower your enemy. With an unlimited array of strategic possibilities, you can build your deck the way that you want, choosing among 90 abilities available, with much more coming down the line. There's rank play, casual multiplayer modes, or have the single player adventure experience that you deserve. Use my link in the description below and check out Soulless Legion for free. And that is when we go back to Universe 7 Earth and we find a Pan who is training with Piccolo, ironically, because we literally just got Pan training with Piccolo in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So I think this is actually kind of interesting that we're also getting in Dragon Ball Kakumei as well. And they honestly match up pretty nicely, seeing as how Kakumei just dropped and Superhero dropped a week ago. But the difference between this Pan and the one from Superhero is night and day. This Pan not only can fly, but she also has mastery over her ki, and she's using it to great effect to try to attack and stun Piccolo. But Piccolo is still her teacher. He's obviously far stronger and more experienced than her, so he knows how to fight, even chastising her at one point, saying, if you knew what your father went through to train with me, have the privilege of training with me, I am Piccolo. I have people from other universes coming here to try to train with me, which you guys remember from the other previous Kakumei episodes and chapters. We have the Universe 6 Namekians. They are here also training with Piccolo. Piccolo wants to know if Pan is actually ready to receive his training, and he launches her in the air. Now she can fly, but still isn't 100% controlling of all her abilities, not yet. But to Piccolo's surprise, she picks it up pretty quickly and uses her ki to go straight at Piccolo at top speed, Mach 5. She is moving like a supersonic jet at Piccolo so fast that Piccolo actually for a second believes that he's going to get smacked in the face by a tiny fist. But before the flying continues and the smack actually comes, she disengages and twirls herself backwards. She did not strike him, which to me, turning that amount of energy and speed off is actually a far more greater example of the fact that you can control all your ki and you control your abilities than just using them to propel yourself in the first place. She put a full break on that attack and did not hurt her master. So if you ask me, she is far more than ready. Once Pan's training is over, she obviously met the requirements. Piccolo puts back on his cloak and tells the Universe 6 Saiyans that it is time to train yourselves in a different way than you have before. We're not just trying to get strong physically, we're trying to do more than that and use the time that we have effectively. One of the pair, he believes that this means relaxing, and they should not be relaxing right now because of the fact that they have a time limit before the Mother of All Angels and her crew defrost. There's no way that they're going to be up to snuff against these powers if they decide to take it easy. But Piccolo pushes the idea that you still need to relax and take it easy once in a while. Take it easy between training sessions. You can't just keep training until your body is completely burned out, because then you won't get any stronger. He needs to forge not only his strength, but sharpen their knowledge as well. They're not really quite understanding what he means by knowledge, but Piccolo explains that they have taught him a lot of Universe X's Namekian race, but Piccolo has not told him anything about the history and the secrets of Universe 7's Namekian race, and also the fact that Piccolo is not the only Namekian on the planet, which they kind of basically saw. They kind of felt that. Piccolo says there is one other Namekian on this planet that he trusts the most, and I think it's really important to say it the way that Piccolo says it. At the highest point of this planet, beyond the skies, in a sanctuary inaccessible by the most common means, lives the god of Earth. who is the person I respect the most in the world. Now, this is a very similar storyline that happened in Superhero, where he goes to Dende to try to get a power-up from Shenron. And, you know, this is a movie, so it has to go a lot faster with its storyboards and the decisions that are made. But in this, he's training Pan, he's training the Universe 6 Saiyans. I think that Dende is going to have a much bigger role in making them more powerful than he did in the Superhero movie. And I'll be honest, even if he goes as far as unleashing all their strength, say this Dende can do it instead of having Shenron do it, then they all get the Orange Piccolo transformation. I think that'd be a great way to bump them up into having a acceptable amount of power to face off against gods of destruction and other beings that are going to be part of the threat later down the line. The Venerable Heir and his crew, they have taken this ship and they literally flew it to the god of destruction's planet Dramel in Universe 14, which is something that we've never seen in any other iteration of the universes and the Gods of Destruction's home worlds, because we only know that Whis and the angels can get to these worlds. We've never seen anybody actually use a spaceship to get there, which I thought was interesting. They arrive on the planet only to find it deserted, and Salaga decides to fly around the planet to verify the fact that it is deserted. But before Salaga ends up flying, the Venerable Heir uses an ability that scans the entire planet for key signatures for life, and there is no life on the planet as of now. But there is one thing that he found on the planet, and that is a psychic beacon, something that he can attach to be able to have a psychic link with whoever left it there. And this may explain exactly why he was trapped and why the planet is deserted, and he insists on going alone. And as soon as he enters the psychic link, the pathway to the psychic link evaporates, and they have technically lost the Venerable Heir. Wherever he was teleported, once inside, he feels a presence coming toward him, and he decides to unsheath his weapon for the first time in this manga chapter, but then finds that the Kaioshin of this universe is the one walking toward him. And it's been many, many months since the Venerable Heir has seen the Master of Universe 14, the Master Kaioshin. The Kaioshin takes him to a room that is called the Altar of Angels, where there is a angel staff that will activate for him and show him the answers to the questions that he wants to be answered so strongly. And once activated, it is the God of Destruction, the one from the Erased universe that we saw in the early chapters of Dragon Ball Kakumei, and he is explaining to the Venerable Heir that your universe is destroyed. He goes further in explaining that the universe then was brought back by a wish from a dragon from a different universe, 17's wish, and that's when he was approached along with others by someone claiming to be the mother of all angels. Him and his crew went straight to the Grand Priest along with the Mother of Angels to start this war outright. That is the last thing that they all remember, and this coincides with the moment before the Venerable Heir had amnesia, where he was on the planet looking for relics. But once Dramel gives him back his memories, we finally realize what happened to all of them, what happened to the Venerable Heir's crew before all this went down. And what it was that the angel and Dramel sent the Venerable Heir into this tomb to find the relics. Once he was in there, he was trapped and he could not get out. That is when his deep sleep happened. That is when the amnesia kicked in. Everything happened at once, and this is all planned. So basically, the God of Destruction is telling him that he sent them in there on purpose, and he trapped them on purpose, basically claiming guilt for everything. Furthermore, it seems like the Venerable Heir may have been next in line to become the God of Destruction, but he was not ready, and this is something that the Venerable Heir could not fathom, and this is part of the betrayal. It was this betrayal that trapped him behind this gate. Because the Grand Priest stopped the Mother of all Angels and the rest of the Gods of Destruction, his angels sent the staff back to the Altar of Angels for the Venerable Heir to discover. That's why he got all his memories back, and now he knows everything that's going on. So even though Lord Dramel ended up betraying this guy, he is the last chance that the rogue angels and gods of destruction have to really fulfill their plan, because he is the next in line to become God of Destruction. And once he takes this appointment, he is the God of Destruction for Universe 14 that has been returned. Now with a brand new God of Destruction, we have the ending of this chapter. This is a great read, honestly. I love this new character. I love his squad. I think that they're perfect, and just the alignment of everything, it
it just feels very much earned, and it's a cool little thing to have in here before the actual war ends up, because they need an antagonist during their training arcs, everybody does, that is going to be on their side. But this guy is conflicted because he was betrayed by his own god of destruction, so he wouldn't become god. Now they have no choice but to make him a god. So will he follow in the footsteps of the renegade angels and gods, or will he forge his own path as Universe 14's god of destruction? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Kakumei.
Subscribe for more content. Or perish.